history of telecom. Okay, so telecom industry basically started flourishing in the year 2000 when we saw those big Nokia phones, and at that time the incoming calls were also charged. From the year 2000 to year 2015, it was a flourishing period for telecom. There were multiple companies which came up: Bharti Airtel, Reliance, Telenor, Uninor. There were multiple companies which came up because the profit margins in telecom was very high. But this whole scenario changed in the year 2016 when Jio decided to launch their services at dirt cheap prices. So I'll just show you what the telecom market looked like at the ending of quarter June 16 before Jio launched their services. So out of a 130 crore population at that time, 106 crore people were using telecom services. At that time, these many people did not even have a bank account, but every Indian had a telecom connection at that time. And you see the distribution among various players. There were 7 and 8 telecom players at the time, and the major ones were Bharti Airtel, Vodafone, Idea, and BSNL, and there were many smaller players at that time. So this was a situation before Jio launched their services. After Jio launched their services, there was a drastic change which came in all these KPIs, which can be seen through this graph. Okay, so Jio launched their services in the year 2016-17, and you see this graph, average revenue per user ARPU. So this shows that how much money a telecom company earns from a user. So let's say if you are a mobile subscriber, in March 16 you were paying 125 rupees to the company. However, in March 17, that dropped down to 80 rupees. So this was a loss of revenue which came to all the telecom companies. And even better graph is this, if you see, data usage and pricing. In March 16, a person was paying over 200 rupees for 1 GB of data. And come March 17, they were only paying rupees 10 per GB of data. So the price reduced from 250 rupees to 10 rupees a GB. And at the same time, the data usage also, if you see the blue ones, the data usage also kept on going high. So basis this, we can say that all of the major telecoms, they were incurring losses because of price competition. And since telecom is a very capex intensive industry, so the mobile connection that you use, they latch onto the nearby towers. And each telecom company has invested in at least 2.5 lakh towers, which are spread across the country, so that you can get the signal on your mobile phone. Now, where does the money from the towers come? There are only two ways. Either you take a loan from a bank or you raise the money through equity. So all the telecom companies are heavily debt ridden. So this was the situation as on 23rd October 2019, when there were only 3 major players who were there, which was Vodafone Idea as a single company, Airtel as the other company, and Jio as on 23rd October 2019. And on 24th October, a judgment came from Supreme Court. And Supreme Court said that all the telecom companies have to pay this amount of fine. Now, what the fine was, that's a big story, but to give you a brief, that each telecom company has to pay a spectrum fees to the government. So let's say if you are Airtel and you have a revenue of 1 lakh rupees. So of that 1 lakh rupees, your 8% of that money will go to the government. Okay. But Airtel said that my revenue is not 1 lakh rupees. Airtel said that my revenue is 80,000 rupees and I am paying the license fees. 20,000 rupees is not my revenue. These are bad debts. These are not from the telecom operation. These are the other revenues. But government said, no, that is also your revenue and you have to pay a fine on that. That is when the Supreme Court said that Vodafone Idea has to pay 58,000 crores as penalty for the past 10 years and Airtel has to pay 44,000 crore penalty. So this was a major turning point in the telecom industry. Let's discuss it from a Vodafone Idea point of view, because the company was highly debt-ridden company at that time, and the company had now to pay 58,000 crore rupees. Now, what should the company do? There's a framework that we use. Okay, it's a very simple framework. The framework is you see the options in front of you. What all options are there? And there should be rationale behind that option. Once you have finalized the options that you have, then you need to see the stakeholders. That basis each option, who are the stakeholders which are impacted? So stakeholders are the people who are directly or indirectly influenced by your company. So let's say Jindal, you are from Jindal school, Jindal college. So who are the stakeholders? All the teachers. Let's say if Jindal closes tomorrow, then all the teachers will be impacted. All the students will be impacted. All the suppliers, the cafeteria person, everyone will be impacted. Your bus drivers will be impacted. So these are all the persons we call them as stakeholders. So it is very important whenever we are taking a decision, we need to see that what will be the impact on each and every stakeholder. And that is when we see what are the arguments in favor कि इस stakeholder को benefit होगा, and what are the arguments against that this stakeholder will be impacted by this. And that is when we do a barter and we see, okay, what decision we need to take. Who are the stakeholders for this company? So definitely the promoters. The promoters are actually the owners of the company. So for the Vodafone Idea company, the promoters would be the Aditya Birla Group and the Vodafone Group. Let's write it over here. And Birla Group. Naturally, anything happening with the company, these two people, these two groups will be impacted. Employees, there are some 10,000 employees who will be impacted if any decision made by the company. Customer, the company has 30 crore subscribers. Let's say the company decides to shut off the network today, all 30%, the mobile connection of 30 crore people will go off. Shareholders. So the figure of 28,000 crore I showed you, these are the money invested by individual like you and me who has invested the money into this company. So any decision, any good decision will make the share price go up. Any bad decision will drive the share price down. So it's very important to consider their welfare as well. The next part is dealer distributors. You see these Vodafone stores everywhere on this shop. Every shopkeeper is doing these recharges. So if anything happens with the company, these are the people who are also impacted. They'll some tens of thousands will be impacted. Suppliers. So the network of a telecom company is built on fiber and the RF antennas. So all these companies like Cisco, ZTE, Huawei, who are the network suppliers for a company, all their business will get lost. Competition. So competition here would be Airtel, Jio, and BSNL. So anything happening with Vodafone Idea, let's say Vodafone Idea decides to raise their prices, it will benefit the competition. Let's say if we decide to bring down the prices, then that will also impact the competition. And one of a very critical element is government. Can somebody tell me how will the government be impacted if a decision is, if any decision, if let's say a company says I'm closing down, I'm shutting off my company today. Can somebody tell me what will be the impact on the government? Government को फर्क पड़ता है कि आज आपकी कंपनी चल रही है बंद हो जाए. Does it matter to the government? Say if you make a profit of 100 rupees, 20 rupees or 30 rupees is going as tax to the government. So if any company, any major company says I'm shutting off today, then the government will be very much impacted. And in the time of 2019, 2020, when government wants money a lot, they have a lot of spending on this COVID, they want new hospitals to come up, they want money. And if you say, Bhaiya, theek hai, I'm shutting off my company, no more tax revenue for you, the government will say, Bhaiya, nahi, let's negotiate, let's do something, let's come up with a policy so that you can also survive, you expand your business and you pay us your premium. That is why government is a very, very important stakeholder when it comes to bigger companies. Especially when this second thing is also involved, which is bank. I've told you, the company, telecom company is a highly capex intensive industry. Airtel, be it Vodafone, be it Jio. Each company on an average has around rupees 1 lakh crore to rupees 1.5 lakh crore rupees as loan from Indian banks. So any of the telecom company today decides to shut down, that means all this money will go into NPA, non-performing asset. So let's say if the loan has been taken from State Bank of India, so if say we are saying that okay, we will shut off the company and State Bank of India, we cannot pay your loan, it will severely impact State Bank of India. So that is when the government will step in, and government will say, okay, let's sit down, let's find a mutual ground so that you can also thrive, the bank can also keep their assets safe, and we can also earn the future revenue. So both of these are very, very important stakeholders for any company. Now, what I've done is, this is a basic model that we follow, that for every option, who are the stakeholders? I have already explained you the shareholders. What are the arguments, whether the shareholder, whether the stakeholders will go for this option or they will not go for this option, and what are the arguments for and argument against. I've already told you a lot of arguments while explaining you the options and the stakeholders as well. However, I'll just fill in a few here. Let's say if you are going for a bankruptcy, let's say if the company decides, okay, we want to file for a bankruptcy, what will be the impact on a promoter? So the promoters are Vodafone Group and the Aditya Birla Group. It's a huge, huge reputation loss for these corporate businessmen. There are many types of corporate. There are some business groups who like open on a company on a yearly basis and they shut down on a company on a yearly basis who are not very employee friendly. But there are the other groups like the Tata Group, the Birla Group, who are very employee friendly. Even if a company is going into a loss, they will keep on continuing the company because they have certain mindset that, okay, we want to serve the country. The profit is not the only motive, but we want to take care of our employees. We want to take care of the economy. We need to take care of the customer. So in this case, being a Birla Group company, the promoters would like to save the reputation loss. So if let's say if they shut down the company today, they will incur a huge reputation loss. And actually, any investment that they made in the company, that is already wiped out. That is not a major factor, but the reputation is very important for these people. Employees, job loss. As soon as the company is gone, their jobs are gone. Customer would be like, they will have an unnecessary hassle to switch to a secondary operator. They might not care that much whether they are working with Vodafone or Airtel or Jio. So naturally, if one company is going to shut off today, they will put their numbers to the other company, but there's an unnecessary hassle that they will have to take. Your shareholders, all the people who have invested the money into the company, your wealth is gone. All the dealers, distributors, shop cares, stores, the sales channels, business is gone. They will have no business if the company files for bankruptcy. Your network equipment, see, whatever business today, that's okay. But for future, they will not get any business. And also any payments which are outstanding. If let's say they have 100 rupees outstanding with a company, that payment will also come into a dispute. Competition will benefit over here because let's say there are 3 major companies in the telecom space now, and if one decides to shut off, so the demand is high, the supply is low, the prices will go up, and if prices will go up, the competition will benefit. Government would definitely not like for a company to shut down because in the recent year, there are many companies which have shut off. Jet Airways has gone, Sahara has gone, many companies have gone. And that has put in a very bad image for a pro-business government. Government wants to show where we are doing Vikas, but if let's say companies are going and they're shutting off, there are 2 losses to government. One is the reputation loss, and second is the income from tax loss they'll incur. Banks, very, very big loss, NPA. So definitely, if we see this option, file for bankruptcy, this is not beneficial to anyone apart from the competition. So all the stakeholders would like the company to survive. Apart from the competition, they will like that, okay, let's find something that the company can survive. So this is the one extreme that the company says we are shutting off. The other very extreme is the company says, okay, we will pay the dues. Whatever you want, we want to survive. We want to be in business. We want to do whatever needs to be done, but we want to survive. This is the other extreme that is there. So what will be there for promoters? Promoters would be like happy if your company is going to survive. They'll be like, okay, we will like to run the company. Employees are happy. Their jobs are safe. Customers are also happy. nothing changes in their life. They are using a certain connection today. They will use the same connection tomorrow. No change for them. Shareholders, this is a tricky situation. Okay, so paying the dues. Let's say if you pay the government 50,000 crore, how will the shareholder perceive this? If they see this is a good sign, the share price will go up. So if the price will go up, then so they are happy. But if people say, this is a bad decision, you should not have paid, you should have done this, you should have done that, then the price will go down. If the price will go down, then the shareholders will be sad. So this is a tricky situation which will depend on how your decision is being perceived by the other people. Your dealer distributors, they are also happy. Their business is safe. Supplier, business is safe. Competition, for competition is like no change. Whatever was going, the same thing is here. Government would be very happy here. They got 58k crore rupees. But at the same time, the banks would be worried. The banks would be worried is when you already have 1.2 lakh crore rupees loan, how will you pay 58k crore additional? So banks would be worried over here. There are only two ways to pay your 58,000 crore. Either you go to a bank and say, Bhaiya, please give me more loan, or you go to the share market and say, Bhaiya, I'm releasing new shares, give me the money. But both of these people, whether it be the bank, whether it be the shareholder, both would be worried when you are not performing so well, when you already have so much loan, and if you take another loan, so let's say you're taking 58,000 crore rupees additional loan, which will translate to 6,000 crore rupees interest every year. Can the company pay this? So this is a major question that has come, due to which the company could not use this option. This could have been an ideal scenario. If you have a lot of money to throw, pay the money, go do your business, expand your business, and do whatever you want to do. But if you do not have the money, then this is a very worrying situation for you. This is where you come to the third option, which is negotiate with the government. Now, negotiating with the government is not very easy. Okay, you need to see your strengths, you need to see your weakness, you need to see the government's strength and the weakness, and that is when you are able to effectively negotiate. So the dispute we are talking about is been going on for last 15 years. It was in the early 2000s when the Department of Telecom said that, Bhaiya, you have to pay the dues. But these telecom companies, they insisted, this is not our revenue, we cannot pay this. So this dispute has been going on for 15 years now. But when it went to Supreme Court said, you will have to pay. So the Supreme Court has taken a very strict stance. In October 19 judgment, they said you will have to pay this loan, you will have to pay this penalty, and you have only 3 months to pay. If you do not pay, we will suspend your license. That was a statement made by Supreme Court, which is a very, very harsh statement. So to go back to the Supreme Court and say we cannot pay, we do not have the money, that will not go very well with the Supreme Court. So that is why you need to handle this situation with care. You need to discuss with multiple officials. You need to discuss with the DOT. You need to discuss with TRAI. You need to come out in public domain and make certain statements. You need to discuss with all the stakeholders that if you want to influence the government, it's not very easy. So if we negotiate with the government and let's say we come up with a solution could be if the amount can be reduced from 58,000 crores to let's say 10,000 crores, which is a very good solution. The second solution is if the original time of repayment, which could be extended to let's say 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, then that is also a very good option. So let's take that option that if we can make a deferred payment or if we can reduce the amount, then what will be the impact? The promoters would be happy because they have to now pay less. Employees, jobs safe, and if the company is paying less. The company has left to pay for appraisals or maybe Diwali bonuses for employee. Left for employee welfare. What about the customers? So if the company has money, then they might not raise prices in the near future because they are not very money hungry now. So customers should be delighted that the prices will remain same. Your shareholders, so the shareholders would be happy because if you have paid your dues, that means there is no red flag hanging over the company. There is no uncertainty. The company may close tomorrow, it may not close tomorrow, then that means it's a running business. So the share price is expected to go up. Your dealer distributor, happy, business safe. Your supplier, their business is also safe. Your competition. Okay. So whenever you are negotiating with the government, it is not you only who is negotiating. It is you as an industry who need to negotiate. Government will never do something like this, like they'll give a benefit to Vodafone. They say, okay, Vodafone, you pay only this much, but Airtel, you need to pay us in full. No, if a government will come up with a decision, they will come up with a decision for the complete industry. And this is a good decision, okay? So let's say if government says you only have to pay half of what you are paying, then that is beneficial for you and that is beneficial for competition as well. So in this case, your competition will also be happy as he will also pay less. Government is also happy because they have got the dues. Anyways, even government also know that if you are demanding 58,000 crores from a company who does not have an ability to pay, they also know they cannot pay. But so government is also happy that they have now some money they will get later and they will keep on getting tax revenue for the near future. Banks are also happy that their loans should be safe and they can keep earning interest on the loan. So when the board sat down after the October 19 judgment, this is what the board decided. See, we do not have the money to pay. We do not want to go in bankruptcy. We have a certain brand value. We have a certain image in the market, which we do not want to tarnish. So they said, okay, let's explore with the government. Let's see what can be done. And let's get the amount either reduced or deferred so that we can get in a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. This was what the board decided that this would be our strategy for going forward.